Guardians, hello. Welcome to this week's Scrim School ScrimCast. I am your host, Bobby Sox. If you are a first timer here, the way this works out is we spend the first hour or so chatting with the guests, getting to know them, figuring out things that they enjoy, that they don't enjoy as much. You guys are free to ask questions throughout the stream. Just feel free to type in chat. I'll try and catch it as I go along. If I miss it, yell at me. That's okay. I'm used to it. My mods do it enough. And then the second half is my favorite part. We load up the game with our guests, and then we run scrims. You guys get a chance to play with these guys. We try and rotate out every 2 games. Make sure that you get a chance to play and learn from them in a one-on-one basis. So, let's get it unmuted. Let's meet our guests this week. The one and only Knitehawk and CoreBri. Looking forward to this. I am hyped. I have had a lot of caffeine, so here we go. Gentlemen.
What's up?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, vibing. Going.
Vibin is the name of the game tonight. So, the way this works, this first little part is a chance for chat to get to learn who you guys are. What makes you tick? Introduce yourselves.
Now you can go first.
You can go first.
What do you mean, like, what makes me tick? Like, everybody calls me Bree. I go by CoreBri though. I don't know, man. I just like to play PvP. Getting kids skins. I don't know, like.
Sweet. I mean, that works. What do you do outside of gaming? Like, this is a chance for chat
I'm
to
a
learn
pharmacist
who you are.
manager, so I work in a pharmacy right now. So I work like 50+ hours a week currently.
Okay.
And COVID and all that going on right now, it's kind of wild to deal with. But pretty much this is my life right now: gaming and worrying about people.
Yo,
Fun
I
time.
respect that. I respect that. Mr. Daddy Hawk, who are you? What do you do, my dude?
Well, I'm a controller player. Let's start off with that. Everyone needs to know that from the get-go. All right, I like the sticks. Sticks are my thing. Do a lot of PvP, help people that way. If I do PvE, I'm usually spectating because I suck. But I use PvP just to help the community out, man, and help them learn and get better and kind of understand the least toxic side of what PvP is.
Okay. I like that. That's part of this too. So this is a very positive environment to get a chance to get a feel for people's differing opinions, and then scrim in more of a I don't want to use the word safe setting because that's kind of overplayed.
Yeah.
But a less toxicity type setting. Like, you're not going to get rolled and yelled at. You're not anything like that. This is a chance to slow down, just discuss. So, let's start it off right. Nighthawk, we know you're a controller player. Bree, I'm guessing you are on MNK?
Yes.
Sweet.
Only for like a year and a half though.
Okay. I mean, you're kind of cracked for being on there for a year and a half. Not gonna lie. Sweet. So we'll be able to dive into kind of the aim trainers and stuff like that, and how you feel about them a little bit further down the line. But at first, let's get to know you guys as the Guardians. What's your mains, classes, subclasses, loadouts? How you feeling?
Hunter, Warlock, and play nothing else. Only 2 classes in the game that matter. I sniper hand cannon pretty much is the way to go. I don't really use anything else. I can use a shotgun. I just prefer kind of not to, which I'm assuming we'll talk about that later. Why I don't assume to use that. But yeah, like that sniper, hand cannon, whatever's meta, I will use. If hand cannons are like not usable at all, I would use whatever it takes primary wise. But pretty much sniper's my go-to special at all times.
I like that. We have a couple snipers here. We're gonna have to split you guys up.
Yeah. I'm in the exact same boat as CoreBri, 100%. Like sniper hand cannon, whatever is the meta. I have been using Chaperone for the past couple of days, which is never used it before, and it's kind of insane. But
I saw that actually. I was checking you out earlier when you were running around with Chappy.
Yep, been running it since I did doubles on Monday, and it's insane. I'm surprised like more people don't use it.
It's pretty nuts, especially on the sticks. It's very sticky.
Yes.
I made pun. It's very, very sticky. That's how we're gonna start this out, is with a horrendous pun.
Hey, it worked. It worked.
All right, so it sounds like what I'm hearing is we have 3 hunters and 3 snipers, so we're gonna have to play this around a little bit. I'm not 100% how yet. I guess I'm gonna have to dust off the old Astral, but we can get into that during the scrim portion. Let's kick it off. When did you guys start playing Destiny, and what brought you to it? Tell me.
E1 Alpha on PlayStation. Went to Xbox on official release though. I only played Alpha because, you know, it was only on PlayStation.
Okay.
Halo OG. I followed Bungie, whatever they made, man. Like, I used to compete in Halo. I brought it really far, and then Destiny came out. You know, Halo was kind of dying off, and switched over immediately. And ever since then, wrote its own story for me.
True. Mr. Knitehawk, what you got?
All right. I feel like me and CoreBri are the same person. Exact same thing. I competed in Halo. I came out, saw us from Bungie. I was obsessed with Bungie at the time. Came over in the alpha, then went to beta on console, and kind of stuck around Destiny for a super long time.
Oh man, so we have 3 snipers. We have 3 D1 alpha test players. We have 3 hunters. I think I kind of like you guys. Well, shit, that makes it easier for sure. Because then we can dive straight into the nitty gritty, and let's pop it off with stasis. How are we feeling? I haven't touched it since the update. So, how's it feeling? Where are we at?
It got nerfed, man. It feels good. It got nerfed. You know, hunters are like pretty much useless in stasis now. But dude, I'm gonna be the first one to break the ice. Hunters weren't the problem with stasis. It was Titans. I'm gonna say it. It's Titans, man. The slide with the freeze at the same time, slide and breaking the ice, the slide movement, the punch one hit, and the super itself. Like, Titans are just like this chaotic force in Crucible that whenever they have a super, it's run for your life. But man, you can't. Like, I don't know, man. I do agree shurikens were busted, but now they're like, you know, so underpowered that like you don't ever need to use them. Right. And I feel like they targeted hard the wrong class too much. Shurikens need to be nerfed. The super wasn't a problem. Super for the Titan was the problem, and you did the typical Bungie thing, man. Went way too hard for no reason on one class.
Knitehawk, how you feeling about it? You were running Titan today.
Yeah, so I was doing Titan, Fire, and Banner. So Titan, it got touched in the right. That sounds weird. It got nerfed in the right places. It got nerfed in the right places. But definitely, like, the biggest issue is that melee freeze. And the biggest thing we're gonna see in trials, we're gonna see a lot of like top 5% players use Shadebinder Warlocks, because you get the 3 ultra freezes, you get the rift, you get the melee, and now you get the cold snaps, which will go through every enemy. You can still get those free 3 kills every round. That's the biggest issue, is that they destroyed one class, kind of messed with another one, and they left one super strong of freezing. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm glad they did what they did, but they need a lot more to go.
Do y'all have the same issue with the Titan slide hitbox?
Yes.
Okay, I was making sure that's not just me and my friends, because they slide. I'm just like unkillable creatures. I'm like, cool. All right.
Yep. It's like Antaeus without the exotic. Yes.
Yo. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, it's pretty common. Usually it's I keep my token Titan with me, 0, to run around and slide into everyone. So
36 servers, that's what it is.
Yep, it's that peer-to-peer connection. I'm excited to try it out. So one thing we do differently. God, who unmuted? Nice, dude. It really likes to unmute you, Core.
That's kind of cute.
I don't know why. That's like the 3rd time it's unmuted since we started this.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I'm excited to try it out. We've always allowed 1 stasis class per team in our scrims. We do 1 stasis, 1 120, and 1 sniper. Right. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. We might actually allow more depending on not Shadebinder. You know,
the truth rocket.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Melee.
Dude, how do you guys feel about the fact that Shadebinder got a buff? Out of everything that got nerfed in stasis, Shadebinder got a buff.
The super needed a buff, man. I will say that, but at the same time, it's like Like, we're trying to get away from freezing, and like you're just putting it back at us. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in stuns don't belong in first-person shooters.
Oh, 100%.
Like, slow me all you want to, but stun me to where I'm just like helpless. It's kind of, I don't know. I don't like it.
Where you're
Like,
not allowed to play.
yeah, like don't let me
Right.
try. That's why I say Titans are my biggest like problem, because don't get into a fight, I get slid, frozen like from a corner, and I'm dead. Like, no chance of gunplay, no options out, and then like, Stasis got too much on me, man. I'll tell you that.
Right. So let me ask this, because this is always a fun one. If y'all had the choice to walk into Bungie and talk to, the devs right now, would you rather have the slow or the freeze? Like,
I'd
if you had
rather
to
have
put
the
your thumb
slow.
on one.
Oh,
Slow. 100%.
Slow? Okay.
Yeah.
That's I just wanted to make sure, like, that's where we were sitting at with that. So I think the changes sound like they were pretty good, honestly. Just for the
Yeah.
fact of all of it is, it's they adjusted the slows, they got rid of the freezes for the shurikens. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I really am. I've been watching a lot more light subclasses over the last 2 days, which makes me kind of happy, not gonna lie.
There are
Because
some like
I'm going on today.
subclasses that do need to be touched pretty soon, like Dawnblade. But we'll see when that happens.
I
I
mean,
mean, like, as in like nerfed or buffed?
Nerfed. Oh,
Oh.
for sure.
okay, so what part
For
of
sure.
Dawnblade do you think needs to be nerfed, my dude?
Oh, 100% in air accuracy and a double accuracy dash.
Okay. I like
Okay.
this route.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Those two, that's the only two things. And Celestial Fire should not be able to do 95 damage. 100%. That should
Around
be
a
lowered
wall.
down to the same as Shuriken. Exactly. Exactly. And then same thing for Chaos. Like, they just need to nerf the boots, or they just need to take away the ability to get super back on cancel for Chaos. And I feel like Chaos is perfect.
I haven't
like
seen very many chaos since it's been adjusted.
It doesn't feel like it's been changed to me. I used it today too for a while.
It's the going through walls thing for me that really tilts me.
Yeah.
That's a bug more than it is intentional, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't know why they haven't fixed it yet.
I just don't like that once you get one super, especially in trials, you can get one every single round after that.
Right.
And
I
that's
mean,
the biggest issue with it.
that's how it was because of the cancel. But from what I
Mhm.
understand, the cancel's been adjusted, so it doesn't cancel as much.
Yeah,
Or it
so
doesn't give you as
instead-
much back.
So instead of getting a bar and a half, you can still get a bar and a quarter. So
Okay.
it doesn't really like it
It's
doesn't
not
feel
that
like
much
it,
of a difference.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it still gives you a really good amount.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, that still sucks, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if they adjust it anymore. Do you think they're going to make any changes to Shadebinder after the first week like they did last time?
I think it'll be a little bit. They said they're working on it already. Like, they admitted that they kind of messed up on the release. They just wanted to let it out, so we didn't push back the entire update. So I'm glad they said something. I just don't know how long it's going to take for them to touch the tracking on the Shadebinder.
So, a question about Icarus. So, what do you want to see nerfed on it? Like the speed of it?
Yeah, so I don't like. I think if they take away the speed boost, it'd be perfect. Or if they add a longer delay in between dashes, because that's the biggest issue. Like, so a lot of people have been using that for a long time, and it allows them to essentially, especially in trials, it's horrible because it's elim. You can get a pick, go across the map before that res is up, and get in a whole different position to watch the res or kill someone getting the res.
Agreed. But when you get rid of that, you're gonna make Titans the sole priority for movement. The double slide and the punch. You know how fast
Well,
I got the mid in trials
I
last
still
week?
think the behemoth should be the same way for Shadebinder. There shouldn't be any class. If all classes don't have that exact same ability to speed boost, it shouldn't be on any of them.
Oh, agreed.
Interesting.
100%.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I don't know. We'll see, because I'm sure we're going to see an uptick of. I'm sure we're going to see a huge uptick of Shadebinders and Dawnblades.
I
Going
100%. Yeah.
forward.
A lot of people are gonna drop Revenant because your neutral game is worthless now.
Yep. Other than the slow factor of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this plays out. I mean, these were big sandbox changes for a mid-season. These are huge.
100%.
So,
100%.
Yeah.
I definitely welcome every change that just implemented. To be honest, it was
I think
good.
it's the biggest change since the launch of Beyond Light.
I
Right.
got Shatter Smashed earlier and didn't die, and it felt amazing.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good. I can't wait to see how this plays out over the rest of the season. Um, let's dive into trials because obviously both y'all played trials. And then I'll come back to Lycan's question right after that. It's his favorite one. How'd you guys feel about trials? I'm sure you guys ran some cards.
I've been on the fence with trials for a long time. D1 trials was, God's gift to the earth for PvP. I felt like, and we all loved it. It was fun. But now with D2, trials ain't the same. It's never gonna be the same. We have too many things, builds. Geomags. Every season there's another cheese, grenade launchers, free peeking. Trials is the way it is now, and it's not good. Elim is one of the worst competitive game modes that ever exist, in my opinion. It forces camping. It forces you to always disengage in fights. Never make a decision, never make a fight happen. I'm a firm believer in that Trials needs an objective game mode. Firm believer. I don't like Trials currently. I play it because it is the pinnacle activity. Trials where it's at right now, in a very poor spot.
Okay. Knitehawk, how you feeling about it?
All right. Kind of similar. So I do think there needs to be an objective mode. It just didn't work with countdown or survival. Survival could work, but we need sort of like a CTF, a king of the hill, a hard point, and sort of like a rotating aspect into trials, so it's not so mundane as you continuously play it. And it makes people think as they're going through their card. So if we had a rotation of like Elim, CTF, survival, and it was randomly with different like game modes on the same map, I think it'd be a really nice place and really fresh to play continuously instead of the same thing over and over and over.
Okay. I mean, I've heard a couple of suggestions doing this every week. One that I heard was, what if it stayed as, it stayed as is, as Elim, but the maps rotated. So you got a different map every game to keep it mixed up. Do you think that'd be something worth playing for, or do you think that would slow it down?
Changing the map doesn't really fix the issue of the camping and the running away and the less engagements. Nobody wants to do anything when it comes to certain matches. I mean, and then most time when you do get into a fight, it becomes a four-head shotgun fest. Trials is like, it's very uncompetitive compared to most things I've played. I've hit top 100 in Apex. I've hit 50s in MLG and Halo. Like literally, it's my life story. But like playing Trials, it feels like it's just like either you forehead or you're all camping. There's no in between the decision making. It's like it's one or the other at some point, and it's not. That's why like you have to have an objective no matter what the map is. Like if there's no objective, there's no incentive to actually do something in the fight. And
Okay.
you're not fighting for anything. You're just fighting the fight.
Okay. I heard another one that was, what if we made it a kind of like a King of the Hill, but it's a center point, and it's first to center and push, and then you have to hold it down for a certain amount of time.
So like lockdown, or what was it called?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Or breakthrough,
Yeah.
I think.
Breakthrough, exactly.
With only one point, just the one in the
Yes.
middle.
Yep. Single
That
point
could
in the middle.
That could work. That could work.
Yeah.
I mean, it could work, but it would have to have like it had to be a really good map with a really good point, because some maps are
That's another issue. There's no good maps.
Javelin's the only like perfect symmetrical map almost.
Ugh. I'm so
The only
overplayed
one.
on Javelin. I'm not
Same.
gonna lie. So overplayed. It is the most.
Bring
Scrim map
Asylum
ever.
back.
I
All
want
right,
to sound
let's-
like so badly. I just don't think it would work in D2. At least
It
not with the
wouldn't.
way-
Too much
Let's-
movement.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was about to dive into that and say, if you think that bringing D1 maps back would work well, like Asylum. That's
I would
one of the
want them
questions that
to,
we ask every
but
time.
It just wouldn't work, man. Like D1 was so much slower. Like I watched like videos not too recently. It's so much slower than D2 ever was, and none of those maps would really work.
I agree with that statement so much.
That's the issue.
Yeah, and actually, you know who cleared that up for me was Wyvern. We had him on here a couple months back, and I couldn't ever figure out why the maps don't feel the same between D1 and D2.
Mhm.
And he pretty much summarized it as, think about the difference in FOV, right? We feel like we're moving faster because of the FOV change. So these maps are all designed for console. Then you start adding them to a PC aspect where everything is faster. Our movements are faster, our dashes, our slides, our jumps, everything puts you into that center point faster. So using a small map like that makes it feel too cluttered almost. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's where kind of the hang up is, I guess. So I'm wondering how they would adjust if to that kind of thing for something like Asylum, which is already a really small map.
The only way I think it would work is like Crimson Doubles, but they took that away. So
I'm so mad they took it away.
I mean, honestly, just make Countdown good. Like Countdown has such good. The thing is, every competitive mode that lasted years has always been a search and destroy, one defend, one attack. You know, one round scenario. Like switch sides, next round, switch sides. It's always been the most competitive thing to watch. It's balanced. You can change up your mind. You can go left or right. You know, you work as a team. You can flank. There's logic behind the things you're doing whenever you're playing that game mode.
Right.
Destiny did it the wrong way when Countdown was first out. You know, they put heavy in very awkward spots. The timer and all that was just, it's weird. Camping for supers. And honestly, supers is a whole other thing in general where people just sit back and wait to get them. It'd be addressed also when it comes to competitive game modes. You know, just sitting around passively gaining super every 3 minutes is kind of a cheesy thing in my opinion, and they need to really find a way, which I have ideas how they could find a way to get super over time. But the way the game is currently set up, no matter what you do, every game mode is going to fail. It's a sad line of Destiny. You know, Countdown can be done, it can be done right, but you have to change the entire core of PvP to work to make it feel competitive or balanced. But there's, you know, it's Destiny. There's countless things that are unbalanced in Destiny that will always be unbalanced. Right. You know, the list is like miles long at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of Bungie in a nutshell, you know. Knitehawk, do you have anything to add to that?
Core's got it like everything he said is that's the hard thing, right? The hard thing is there's so many things that can be done, but realistically, like Bungie still has to fix their foundation before they can make things essentially perfect. They have a long ways to go. This update was a good step in the right direction. It just sucks that it took like a long time to get there. But hopefully moving forward it'll keep going. They're hiring more people for their PvP sandbox team. They're having a new studio open up. So I think in a couple years Destiny will be the best it's ever been. It's just trying to get there is going to be the hard part.
It's the growing pains. It really is. I don't know about y'all, but I think out of the whole weekend of trials I ran, I maybe used my super 10% of the time. Like maybe 20% tops. Most our rounds were really quick. Most our games were flying through, and the only time I ever used my super was high card. You know,
that's because 120s though. 120s are busted.
Like true.
Oh man, this meta we're currently in. It's you know, you get shot first, you're dead. Like it's just that's the way it goes. A good player is gonna hit you one time, and you're never gonna make that fight turn around. He's gonna 3-tap you unless you have 50 resilience, and he messes up one time. Then maybe you can turn it around, but other than that, like you die every time. Current meta is so Destiny needs a rewind time. Nerf 120s range wise, keep the 120 rate of fire, make 140s 150s, and then maybe we'll have some sense of a video game then when it comes to actual balance when it comes to shooting.
Okay.
Like winnable fights. But right now, like the current meta, like how you just said, like you barely use a super, that's just because 120s are just insane. Like insane.
Yeah.
I've never played Destiny where I was like, let me just go one tap everybody. It's wild.
I mean, it's a lot like Titanfall. Titanfall's TTKs were ridiculous. Let's be real.
100%. Yeah, I love Titanfall too. That was a good game.
So I got to ask this question from Lycan because he's going to lose his mind. I had to scroll a ways back for it, and we kind of tangented a little bit. He says, what do you think of tuning pellet shotguns to better fit their close range design so that they work more like Acreus? They wouldn't deal damage past certain ranges or on frame type. Precision frames would have the best reach, aggressives would have quick draw removed and replaced with different perks, and lightweights would have quick draw made intrinsic and replaced with appropriate perks. Do you think something like that would play well?
Is my man talking about reducing the range of shotguns? And I'm all for it.
It's more than that. He's talking about actually specifying shotgun
Like shotgun
what,
rolls,
types.
like slugs being ranged and pellets being shorter range, and then like other pellets having like a faster,
Yeah,
moving
exactly.
faster.
Exactly. It's more than that. So it's like aggressive frames will have a very short range, but obviously
100%.
they're going to hit like a truck. Lightweights are going to have a shortened range versus something like a precision frame. Do you think that's something that would play well with this? Do you think
I love
that's
that
something
idea.
I think so. I think shotguns are way overpowered.
100%, 14% usage in the past 3 weeks compared to every other gun.
Mm-hmm.
The closest gun to it's only 3%. Like,
Right.
it's night and day. Shotguns are everywhere.
Yo,
I love his
Mac,
change.
much love. Yeah, I think
That's
he
actually really
has
smart.
he has a an actual graphic that he broke down too. Lycan is kind of my my community. What's the word I'm looking for? He's got autism. He's got Asperger's, and he's proud of it. But it also gives him like super extreme focus, right? And you'll spend hours breaking down stuff like this. And I like the way that it's sent. I really want it to get to Bungie at some point because it's like the highest range for a shotgun is 9 meters, and that is on a precision frame only. And it's like higher tuned. It's really cool. He's gonna post it in general for you guys so you can see it too.
I am in love with that idea. That is like, I mean, but at the same time, shotguns are really overpowered because of movement more than anything. You can close a gap so quickly. Which is like 100% true. But then again, if that idea was implemented, you wouldn't have to tone down movement, tone down the gun, and make the guns will still be good, obviously, but they wouldn't be. I wouldn't get fell winters from 20 meters away.
Yeah, no doubt.
Love, holy cow, the guy. Yeah, I like that idea a lot. I am happy that he said that.
Dude, it's a really good, like really thought out prospect, but it's one of his favorite ones to kind of hear your guys' ideas, if it would play out well or not, or anything he would need to adjust specifically with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nighthawk,
you can start by not giving everybody a god roll shotgun for free.
How about that? Being able to buy it from the vendor now.
Yep, it's just a great time. Oh man, I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
FOMO.
I don't think I would change anything. That's like he has that down to a T, to be honest. Like I said, like his way makes it where you don't need to tone movement down. You can keep the movement system kind of going. Obviously, hunters need movement now because they don't have the movement the other two classes do. Not even close. Right. Besides, stompies hitting your head on the ceiling and almost killing yourself while doing it. I agree with that. I love this change. Yeah. I don't know what to change about it. It's good. It's really good. I would rather have that right now than anything else. 100%.
That's amazing, and he's gonna be just grinning from ear to ear right now, I'm sure. Nighthawk, is there anything you'd add to it or adjust to it or anything like that?
Yeah, so I've been reading. I think that'd be fucking awesome. So I do like. So the whole shotgun thing, I don't mind if I just don't want like weapons. If there's something that's hard to obtain, there needs to be a counter to it. That's essentially something that can be the same as it, but completely different. So when Felwinter's came out, they should have created this sort of a way to farm something when Felwinter's was gone. That was essentially Felwinter's, just a completely different model and name and different lore, right? Because that's where balance comes in. If there's something that's broken, if everyone has it, technically the game's balanced. There needs to be ways to where everyone can counter something, even if they can't get the hardest weapon available. Like with NF, there should have been, a strike version that contested NF, but they was just acquired a different way.
Right. I agree with that. Like the Mindbenders farm back in the day, so much. I spent so much time in the hall.
I never got one. It was so bad. Never got one.
I did it with the cheese. Still managed to run it. I did it with the cheese. Still managed to run it 100 and something times, and I think the closest I got was slide shot, moving target. I think that was it. And that was when That was when I finally accepted that I don't need quick draw if I never put my shotgun away.
True. Well, that brings another thing to the table of why shotguns are potent. Everybody that you see insta pull shotguns out are cheating. Not like cheating like as in hacks. They use macros on their 1 and 2 key. Y'all know about that?
Yeah, the hot swapping on M and K. Yeah.
Yeah, but using macros instead of actually doing it, I believe that should be grounds of ban. In my opinion, macros are not allowed in most video games. Halo 2 is the prime example. BXRing was a thing back in Halo 2. It was a skill gap thing to do. Most people at MCC now use macros to do said thing. That is not the same. That is doing something without doing the work to obtain something, and I don't agree with that. Anybody that uses a quick swap macro inside of PvP, that's just cheating. You're not playing legit. You're letting a computer system do the work for you.
Right, and I mean you can still quick draw glitch.
No, you can still do it. Like if you do it manually, nice, hell yeah. But if you macro it, one button press, that's cheating. I don't agree with that.
Which is what we're probably going to see a lot more of.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, that is an interesting thought. Actually, I didn't know you could bind like that.
Yeah, you can literally. I know people that have it on their 1 and 2 key. That's default. They automatically do it no matter when. Every time they swap, they do it.
Huh.
It's definitely not. That's why have you ever ran at somebody, he does it immediately to you, like, wow, he's nuts. Probably has a macro.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, we can't do that on the sticks, so
you can. Oh, you can. You can.
But you can
That's
fuck it up on the sticks.
Yeah, but you can mess it up. Well, no, you can also macro controllers. That's the thing. On PC, you can macro controllers.
I've never knew you could do that.
Yeah, there's programs that you can download that let you apply macros.
I feel like you have to have specific controllers for that though, because I'm still rocking that OG PlayStation.
Software. That's the crazy thing about PC gaming. You never know.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So Shiraz had a question. He says everyone's hating on Titan, but they needed a movement ability. So his question is, why are people so salty on Stasis Titan? Not talking about just the Behemoth Super.
The slide.
But he's saying they need a movement ability. So do hunters.
Yeah,
you don't have one.
Hunters have
every
a jump,
class
a
should have
dodge,
one,
and
or
a
we
slide.
shouldn't have any.
Our dodge is not a dodge. Here's the thing. Everybody really doesn't like hunter dodge. Let me explain to you why it's bad. Do you know how many times I've dodged and died because of it? Countless. more so than succeeding and living. It gets you killed. If you dodge in a gunfight, you just lost that gunfight. Unless you have Bacchus, but that's an exotic. That's another story. Yes, exotics don't imply to the actual ability itself. That's a whole other line of that. But you're given 2 classes movement at this point, and hunters don't have movement. Titans are getting a lot of love. Every exotic that's come out since Forsaken has been broken. That says a lot. Like, except for the ice mantles, that's anybody uses that pretty much dies in Crucible.
Right.
But every exotic besides that exact one has been broken, either PvP, PvE, and that says a lot about what Titans are getting compared to every other class in the game. It's been a non-stop trend since Forsaken. I've noticed it a lot.
Okay. Knitehawk, what do you think? You think it's a deserved ad? Do you think it's too much?
I think the slide's way too much. Only because you can combo the slide melee, and you're quicker than the top tree done. It doesn't matter.
You're so fast.
You're done. And I still believe if all classes can't do something similar, no class should have that ability. It ruins the whole aspect of balance in the terms of PvP.
But do you think balance is the thing, or do you think space magic is the thing? I mean, it's Destiny.
So I like space magic, but everyone should have space magic.
Balance real quick. All right, look. Here's the thing about balance and Titans. Why are Titans able to punch me twice whenever I melee them one time?
Yeah.
Every class melee the same speed.
2 seasons ago, because it
Still,
used to be
so quick.
It used to be hunters were the fastest melee.
It shouldn't be anybody faster. It should be even across the board. I don't know why there has to be a faster class at melee.
Yeah, and then they added extra range for the warlock because it's slower, if I remember right.
See, that's just doesn't make any sense. Just make them all the same speed.
Exactly. If anything, make an exotic, it makes your melee faster, and that's where it's fine.
Yeah, you're using an exotic slot instead of a movement exotic slot.
Exactly.
It's so, I don't know what the thought process is when it comes to balancing PvP, but it doesn't feel like it's there. Balance is things are equal, not one thing is far superior than the rest. It doesn't make sense to do it that way. Giving Titans a faster melee, giving Warlocks longer range, Celestial, melee being basically a truth in your hand, or dubious volley, whatever you want to call it. It's balance is everything is equal. And obviously you're never going to get that with Destiny, but you can start with basic things like melees, slides, stuff like that, movement. Obviously abilities won't never be balanced because they're 3 different classes.
I mean, Strauss just made another really good point. He said, "Isn't Titan the least used class in PvP?"
No, I don't know. It's the most used class in Destiny as a whole as well.
Yeah,
interesting.
By a large
because
shot.
I thought it was
It's either
Hunter or Hunter sat way above.
So
it was the most
picked
picked class
for PvP. Yeah, but right now, Titan is the most used character on hours played in the entirety of Destiny 2.
By a long shot too. It's kind of nuts if you look at it.
That's actually news to me as well, because I was under the understanding last year's Guardian games.
That was false.
Hunters
I know where
were
you're
the
going with
highest
this.
played.
I just had this conversation. So Bungie stated that hunters were the most picked class at launch. That's why they neutered them on the playlist.
Yeah,
that's unfair.
Hunter.
Yeah, that's unfair to think that people at launch are still playing hunters today. Like people swap. Like I don't know why they even announced that they were gonna nerf hunters. Like that's wild to me.
I agree, honestly. But I mean, that was kind of the theme that they pushed to everybody else. Was there's more hunters than every other class, and that's why they're adjusting it.
Yep, the way they said it though, and the way it came out on Twitter was that they were just more picked at launch, which is true. There was a lot of hunters at launch, 100%, nuts. But then it slowly went to everything else, and then Titans, around Forsaken, skyrocketed because of One Eye Mask. And then ever since then, it's just been always on top. Literally since then.
I'm gonna have to fact check back in on this because I'm curious to see how it plays.
It's why I thought the same thing until Guardian games, and I saw all the stats, and I was like, wait.
But is that because none of the hunters could be bothered to play Guardian games, or is that actually because they wanted another team to win?
You can't putting a blanket statement saying all the hunters they want to play Guardian games is so. If it was really double the amount of players, you think we would have caught up and been somewhat near them. Look at the bar of how high Titans were. Like it's the most unlogical thing. Like it's just a bunch of lies at that point. Like I feel like Bungie did, but at the same time, it's no way. Like this doesn't exist.
Do you think Guardian games are going to be a repeat of last year?
I think Guardian games should be SRL. That's all I saw.
100%. A high five right there. Give us the fucking horns back, please.
Dude, I want it so bad.
Making a toxic thing of class versus classes is weird. Just make it SRL. Is that fun?
Yeah.
I fucking loved SRL, and we can actually roll that into it. That's a great one. So, bringing stuff back from D1, right? Do you think it's a nostalgia thing, or is it something that we actually had fun with? Is my first part of it. So this is a 2-step question. And the second part is, if you could bring back anything that you think would play well in this current layout, this current engine, what would it be?
Land Beyond.
Okay.
Quick with it.
Dude, if there's a cheater with an NLB, bro, I don't want to play. There's no way. That's the only reason why it scares me, dude. Everyone talks about them like, dude, if there's one cheater out there with a no Land Beyond, you're not moving. Like it's just over.
You're dead every time. Yep.
Like the stats on the SRL, right? Like apparently only what was it? Like 9% of the community actually played SRL. It was actually very, very low.
Which is wild.
So
everything that I hear, everybody I've talked to is bring back SRL. I'd love SRL.
Exactly. So I wonder, I don't know if those stats are true because everyone I've ever talked to, whether it's just a player, a content creator, anyone whatsoever, that everyone enjoyed SRL. And I don't understand how they say it's only 9%. I don't know if they're including inactive accounts or accounts ever used in Destiny or what. I'm sure it wasn't active players during the time of SRL. I think they did a blanket statistic for it, and that's why it looks so bad.
They do that a lot.
and that's a big problem, and they do that for everything, especially when they first did nerfs. They just did blanket stats, and that was a big issue. But I would like to see Rift come back. I think Rift would be a really good game.
Please, thank you. You're my new best friend.
Really, really good. Really good.
Give me Rift, but let me pass the ball. Let me huck it at my teammate. Give us what was that mode in Advanced Warfare and Call of Duty? What was it called? Where you throw the ball around? It was like Rift, but you threw it around a teammate.
Oh, yeah.
Bring that into Destiny. Make that Rift. Oh my God, with the movements that we have in Destiny and that game style, it'd be nuts.
Uplink. That's what
Yeah, there you go.
Uplink. There we go.
Yeah.
Give me that. I'd live
That'd
in
be
that
so
playlist.
much fun. And I say the same thing. I would love to see Rift come back. I think Rift would actually play very well, honestly.
Yeah.
I really do, because it would force movement. You know, it would get rid of the cavemen sitting in the back of the spawns and waiting for supers. I've seen core shots. He's just gonna throw the ball off the.
All right, Oryx.
I'm all for it. I would love to see Rift come back. Out of all the game modes, it was Rift that was by far my favorite. Just for the difference in plays, you know what I mean? It's not Clash with extra steps, or Clash with less lives, or Clash but you only have one life.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I mean, dude, Uplink would be so sick. I'm stuck on that now. I'm just
You're
thinking about it. Wow.
You're like currently writing a tweet to Dylan. Hold on.
Give me Uplink, and this game will be sick.
I lost my train of thought. Holy shit. You guys are ridiculous. I'm just reading through chat, and chat's like, dunk it, uplink, dunk it, shoot the shot. Oh my god. And that is
so many memes. Holy cow! You think
yeah.
the memes that would come from that? Oh
Oh
man.
yeah. So let me tell you both, this whole thing is off the cuff. I have no questions written down. I kind of just let it roll. And we're already 45 minutes into this, just so that we're aware. Like, you guys are nuts. This is so much fun. Like, having people that think just like me, this is making it a lot easier, but it's also making it a lot harder to ask questions, because I'm like, I already know this answer.
Right.
Let's roll it back. Obviously, we've seen... Actually, I know I reeled it back. I got where we're at. So, we talked about cheaters with no land beyond. Did you both see Bungie's tweet about an hour ago?
Yes, I'm happy about it, but here's the thing. How many people? Was it 3? Was it 4? Was it a couple thousand? Like, what did you do? Like, it's cool to make a statement, but like, you could have just lied to us for all we know. We don't know what you did. Like, we don't know if you banned cheaters, if you banned somebody that was, scamming people. We don't know what they did. They just unleashed the ban hammer. The Bungie saying, like, what did you do? Be vocal.
Right.
It clearly meant nothing, and they just wanted to put that out.
My hope is that means that they are actually actively going through all of the requests. Because I mean, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I'm sure we all got the email, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever faced a cheater? Where did you face a cheater? What were you doing? Did you watch a cheater? Right?
Yeah.
And then this came out 2 weeks later, which kind of lends me to believe that they're taking the right steps.
Okay.
Hopeful. Anyway, I'm hopeful. I am pessimistically hopeful, I guess is the best way I can put it. Just because of what we've ran into, not just the aimbots, but the infinite heavies, the respawns, the
ESPing, all that good stuff. I have a question for both of you guys real quick. How would y'all feel about a root system? A root, like cardinal system anti-cheat for Destiny?
I'm not, so I'll let Knitehawk answer first, and then I'll dive into that.
I'm being honest, I don't know what that means.
Valorant has it.
Like Val, where it's loaded on your kernel.
Okay.
It's an OS.
Oh, I'd be fine with that.
Okay, so let me explain to you from the perspective of a data center manager and a CCNP. The way that works, though, is it has access, the equivalency of having your kernel, right? The equivalency of having kernel access for an anti-cheat means that it has the skeleton key for your entirety of your computer.
Oh, 100%. Yep.
Not just when the game's running, not just when your computer's on, but it has access to your OS. So, if it ever gets hacked, that means that whoever hacked it has access to 100% of your PC. So I am not a fan of kernel, personally. If you use your PC for anything more than gaming, is the caveat, right? So like mine is for gaming and gaming solely. There's nothing else on my PC other than games. But people that use their stuff for school, people that use their stuff for banking, if you have your cards and your accounts registered to your PayPal and you've ever logged into your PayPal on your PC, they can access it if it ever gets hacked.
True. It's very true. Like whenever I played Valorant a lot, I climbed all the way to Radiant, so like I knew like the risk I took by playing Valorant and stuff like that. I knew like what I got myself into. But, like we're to a point like the day and age where like for one, Riot can actually they can confirm they can shut down their Vanguard, which is what they call it, at any point in time, where like it doesn't it's not has access to nothing. They have like a server cut for it. You know, ready to go if they ever got hacked, they can completely cut the circuit for it. Like they don't have any access to anything anymore. And then they also said if that ever happened, you got to reinstall all of Vanguard. That was a humongous statement they made, which I would agree that Bungie would have to do something like that if they ever did it. But dude, I kind of want it at this point. They don't have any hope at all.
We're at the point where it's so wanted that we're gonna accept whatever we can get out of it.
Yep. The thing is, I don't know if I'm playing a crack player or if I'm playing a guy who's cheating anymore. I don't know.
I hate
like
that.
then I look at the profile and it's private. I'm like, he's a cheater then. You have your profile on private. I can't see anything. You're a cheater. Like that's my mentality now in Destiny. Like I don't want to be that way, but because it happens so often, especially on the weekends, I have no choice.
Right.
Like it's a bad situation now. You know, nobody who's here's the thing. All the sweats and top tier players don't put their profile on private because we know they're not cheating. You know what I mean? But if you have to go out of your way to do it, I feel like you're cheating now. Like that's just my mentality. It's also a lot of my friends' mentalities. It's just like it sucks that we were forced to think that way because Bungie won't do anything. And there's another solution they can do also. I used to play Apex Legends like at a high level, like top 500 multiple seasons, and it's a fun time. It's great. It's competitive, but they have a cheater problem. How do they handle cheaters at high level play? Well, they have a thing called Respawn Hideout. They have a Discord where they hired people to literally just watch streams every day, and they ban people live.
Interesting.
You have a problem, a moderator goes to that Discord and say, hey, we have a cheater in this game. One of the mods in that stream goes to that or Discord tells them, they come to the stream, double check it, look at the account, ban them on the spot.
Interesting. And I mean, they have that. It just took hours last time we saw one going actively to prove a point, you know?
Yeah, but like even if it took hours for it to happen, at least it's happening. I played a guy that was cheating in trials on Friday and played him again on Sunday. I was like, dude, like why it's like why is it this hard at this point? It shouldn't be this hard.
So
it shouldn't.
Nerve actually had a really good suggestion. And I'm gonna reference back to it. And I like to credit because most of these thoughts that I get from these are just from talking with you guys and taking it to the next one. Nerve had a really good suggestion of what about a kill cam? So kind of like COD, right? You die to somebody that tracked you through the wall, you can watch him track you through the wall. And then you can clip that and tag it with your post carnage and send that directly to Bungie. Because Bungie.
The thing is, would Bungie look at that though?
So there's
data.
The big thing with the way that Bungie does reporting, like you can hit report on somebody and they have to try and go through, but they get so many false reports that it takes them a ton of time. Like to comb through each person's post carnage, right? And be like, maybe questionable, you know? But if you send a clip on Bungie.net as well as the post carnage report, because like on Bungie.net, they have an actual part where you can report.
Oh, that long form? I've done that before.
Yeah. But if you use that long form with a clip and the post carnage on it with the guy's stats, I feel like that would work in the interim, you know what I mean? Until they figure out something.
I agree, but I also feel like 99.9% of the player base is not going to do that. I feel like that's going out of the players way too much to solve an issue that could be solved easily. Here's the thing about the kill cams is Call of Duty already has that to an extent, right? They have the kill cam, but they still have a humongous cheater problem in Warzone, you know? And like I get like the Bungie statement they made when it was the state of the game, how they're hiring more people to go through bans to read reports is like it really put like a sour spot in me because I'm just like, why don't you create a system that understands this guy has 100% accuracy over 300 games,
right?
And just bans him immediately. Like there's no human being can do that. It's impossible. It doesn't make sense. And like there's players that have these stats and they have hundreds of hours in the game and they're not banned. and then like we have to wait for a manual review that's taking hundreds of hours for it to happen. Just have an automatic system, and then give a proper dispute system. So if you do get banned and you weren't cheating, a proper dispute system gets you out. Because right now all Bungie has is when you're banned, you're gone. Like that's just how they do it, and because they do manual bans. If you have an automatic system, you add a dispute system, but they won't do it for whatever reason. It's hanging on to the old ways. That doesn't work on PC. Bungie is now in the PC gaming genre, no longer console, and they have no idea how to handle it, it seems.
I mean, to be fair, they didn't know how to handle the DOSing either on console. They still don't. You know what
I
mean?
Oh, well, yeah, that's more on Microsoft's point of this part, though.
We're 6 to 7 years in almost, and we're looking at still no DOS protection.
Yeah. Halo 3 DOSing was, real fun back in the day.
Oh, yeah, it was a blast.
But that's like some illegal terms, though. Like, that's where, like, if you wanted to, the person, if they found the other IP, you could straight sue. Like, because... Oh.
So, let me reel that back again, because yes and no. IPs are public knowledge. You can find an IP on anyone at any time by running a trace route. That's a completely legal thing.
Oh yeah, it's legal, but
now
flooding
when you
it is
use
illegal,
it,
correct?
Yep, when you use it for a malicious purpose, then it becomes illegal.
Yeah, and most people flood IPs with said like spam and stuff like that, which causes the bot to overflow, and then you just get kicked offline.
Yep.
Yep. I did a lot of research back in the day on that too. It happens so often in Halo, it's nuts. But like it happened way more in Halo than it ever did in D2. To be honest with you, like high skill ranked it was always DOSing.
Oh
It
yeah,
was everywhere. In Destiny, like dude, I have friends that play on console still, and they said it hasn't happened as much recently. I guess because more people are scared what's coming and all that.
I have friends on console that still get knocked off every time they log in. So it's like, and held off.
Wow.
Because they pissed off one group of people one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't need to throw names out, obviously. I'm not that kind of person, but we all know the kind of peoples. Yeah, see? Leg got hit 7 times last weekend.
Good God.
Yep.
Holy cow. All right, time to move PC. I'm play with the cheaters with us.
Right. Leg is on PC too.
Oh, man.
Yeah, see, Shiraz quit Halo 4 because of it. Exactly. And my question is, how hard is it to just not be a shit person? Like,
I'm in it every day, bro. Dude, I don't understand.
Dude, I don't get it. Like the cheaters, the DOSers, the people that sit there and bash. Like, how hard is it just to not be a shit person? You guys are freaking out over pixels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's fucking wild to me that just like that is the thing, Everyone's like, well, I got to make that extra $10 from that one round that I didn't want to play out for 10 minutes. What? Yeah. Really?
Dude, I just feel like, dude, it's not even just that. It's also the paid recovs. Like, how many of those accounts are cheaters? Especially those websites you see on YouTube and stuff on the advertisements.
Dude,
those are everywhere.
I hate websites.
Speaking of recovs, my friends, let's get into it. That is a great topic to roll into. How you guys feel about recovs?
A lot of people are not gonna like the way I'm about to say it. I love everybody, and I'm usually a very humble person, but I'm also a firm believer if you can't get it, you need to find a way to earn it. Recovs is not the answer. It's also against TOS on Twitch. You're not supposed to, play on other accounts. It's not yours, especially for paid reasons. You're not supposed to do that. On top of that, you didn't earn it. Like, it's not yours. I don't see if you come into my lobby and you're like, look at my title. To me, you don't have a title. I don't care. Like it's not yours. Like, you didn't do anything to earn that. Like, everything should be earnable. Recov should not be a thing. Even back when Destiny was on Battle.net, if the recov amount that's happening now was happening back then on Battle.net, all those accounts would be banned because against Blizzard terms of service.
Knitehawk, you first, and then I'm gonna answer back.
Okay. I'm perfectly fine with recovs. It just depends in settings. Like I do them. I've done them for a very long time. I've done them for people who, one of my longest viewers, she's in the hospital because of chemo, and I help her obtain gear because she just can't do it herself because she's always in the hospital. And I have a bunch of medical people I help out, especially with COVID, they haven't been able to play. So that's, you know, I enjoy doing it. The one thing I don't like is cheaters doing recovs.
Yes.
And a big part of it is websites that just give them the ability, which they don't have to get checked, you know, vetted. They just go onto these websites, claim recovs, and cheat their way through recovs. And I hate it whatsoever. I hate websites where you can go and get things done like that.
Dude, what was
There's
it? It
so
was
many of them,
Exodus.
too.
Exodus was bad.
And it was because of that. They were pulling recovs from websites, making money, and that was the biggest issue. And I feel like if you shouldn't be able to get a website and use, like, I don't mind if other, you know, streamers or people with a community do recovs, because you know that person, you can watch them and vet them and see if they're cheating and things like that, and you know for a fact, you know, there's nothing weird going on. But with a website and you go through and get recovs, there's no way to vet that.
Yep.
Whatsoever.
So that's why I put
Well,
a blanket statement over
the
zero
response.
recovs too.
So that is the responsibility of the website to do, because
But they're not going to. They're just there to make money.
Yeah,
Yep.
they make money. They don't care.
They don't care.
So I am a lot of the same boat as Knitehawk. I did a shit ton of recovs over the last 2 weekends.
Hmm.
But the caveat to that is I never once charged anybody for it.
Yeah, I
Not
hate
once.
charging recovs. That's my biggest thing.
I will not. I refuse to
most-
charge for a recov. And the reason being is you mentioned TOS and recovs, right? The caveat with breaching TOS is when it becomes paid.
Yep.
So if someone willingly hands you their account information, their login information,
Oh, it's legal game.
it's completely legal.
Yeah, it's legal game. Like the thing about recovs, I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with that it's so open-ended right now that anybody can do it, which is also cheaters. The only way to fix it is to have zero at all. But if you can't just like leave it as that, because you can never prove it now, because people are doing recovs so often, nobody knows who's a cheater and who's not. There's too much going on that you can't handle anything anymore. If I was like, hey, example, Bobby, hey, recover my account and do this thing, but you were a cheater and I didn't know, my account's now banned, and now I'm asking why. But that guy is not banned, even though he was the original cheater.
Right.
He doesn't cheat on his account, he only cheats on recovs.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like it makes this never-ending cycle of you never know what's really going on, and people are getting banned for no reason that aren't really cheaters, and it's a never-ending cycle. Recovs have always been. That's why Blizzard got rid of them forever ago. Like, you're not allowed to share at all. If your account, if you get logged in somewhere else on a battle.net account that's at least 50 miles or more from you, your account gets locked.
True.
Like,
I mean, I feel it, and there's reasons I do recovs. Like one of the guys that we recoved, he's in boarding school, and all he wanted was the igneous. Like that, he can't touch it. I had one guy that was great at. We'll go all the way back to the recluse era, right? I had one guy that had severe hand problems and mental problems, and he couldn't physically play comp.
well, see,
Not
those
at a
things
high
are
level.
fine. Like, those things don't bother me at all. It's just the fact that right now we don't know what's going on. Like, you know, if somebody's doing recov, it's probably a cheater, and he's playing on an account that's not his. And this guy that just wants this thing is about to lose his account because this guy's cheating on it, or DDoSing, or anything of the sort. It ruins other like recovs that are trying to actually help people out. That's why recovs are a bad thing right now, because you don't know what's going on. Now, if you're helping somebody, it's more power to you. I'm for that. I used to do it too. I only stopped because I've got cheated on by recovs so often. I was like, there's got to be a solution to it. And the only solution is to get rid of it, which is the Blizzard treatment. Blizzard got rid of it in a very smart way, and it reduced their cheating in Overwatch by a large margin.
Interesting.
And only way to really do it is if we want to handle the cheater thing, it's stepping stones all the way there. And recovs is one of the stepping stones.
Okay.
You know, more power to everybody that wants these things. I hope you get them, and like, do your recovs. I'm not like against it, but eventually those stepping stones will be probably brought to light by Bungie, and they might step on them. Like,
Interesting.
it's one of the ways to get rid of cheaters. Is all it is.
Right. Rolling into the nitty-gritties now. We're talking about the rough stuff, you know what I mean? We touched on
the things
recovs.
are like,
Let's touch on trials being shut down because of win trading. Do you guys think win trading was a problem?
yes and no.
I just think it messed the player base up really badly. We saw win trading gone this weekend, and it was the highest numbers Destiny has ever seen.
But
terms of
is that
PvP.
because Igneous was the 3-win? Because if you look back at when Messenger was 3-win, it was
I don't I don't think it was 3-win because the number of flawlesses were still really high. So that means they played, a lot of people played through the flawless.
Interesting.
You see, like win trading didn't bother me at all, like almost at all. It was more so just like you didn't really get to play. Like everybody would just either like leave because you weren't win trading and stuff like that. It did ruin it a little bit, but like people were getting. Like, the thing is, I don't have a problem with people getting gear. You know what I mean? Like recups and all that. I don't care. Like get your gear, have fun, play the way you want to play, earn the way you want to earn. It's whatever. But when it comes down to the cheater thing, that's where the recup kind of gets me. When it comes to win trading, go for it. Like you want to go for it. If you're gonna find other squads that want to do it to you, go for it. But if it gets too out of hand and ruins the entire Trials experience, then obviously I don't want to see it anymore. But whenever I played, it wasn't too potent. I didn't notice it that much. Like, it happened occasionally. It did. It was like it didn't affect me that much. It's not. One of my friends went 7-0 against them only. Like they just left the game because they didn't get a win trade. Me, I saw it like once in one card.
Right.
Surprisingly.
So back when it was Hockey Weekend, right? Faith, who's in my chat, he hits me up and he's like, "Hey, do you want to do this the rat way?" And I'm like, "All right, let's go for it. Why not?" We VPN'd into Hong Kong, and they were already on a 21 win card. So what we did is we gate kept for like 4 hours, because each time, each match took about 20 minutes to queue in, right? And when they finally queued in, they saw that we weren't wearing the hockey emblems, and they backed out.
Yep.
So the way we saw it was we just wasted 20 to 40 to 60 minutes of their time hoping that there was a win trader.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Funny.
Yeah,
that's kind of funny.
That's pretty funny. We were actually talking about it before it got shut down the last time, that we were going to actually wear the hockey emblems and then do the raffle and everything else regarding along it, right? And when we lost the raffle, like we were going to try and, I don't know if we could have rigged it to make us lose, but when we lost, we were going to stay on our mains and just roll the fuck out of them when they switched to their main.
See, I didn't run into them that much. Did you have to be on a VPN to really find people though?
Hong Kong was bad.
Yeah.
We ran the entire, like the 2 days that was going. Hong Kong was every single, I think we played one game out of an entire card.
Holy shit. That's wild.
Yeah, and most of the time they would queue in, see us not wearing the emblem, and they would just back out.
I never ran into problems like that. Mine were just like happened once, and pretty much every game after that was normal.
Yeah, it was fun. I wish that we would have been able to do the actual rat way of waiting for them to switch their mains and then rolling them. Like I think our only game that we actually had was our flawless game, my flawless, because they were already on their card, right? And we matched 3.26s, and they tried to play it out.
Respect.
It was the flawless game, and they tried to play it out, and we 5-0'd them. And I'm pretty sure 3 rounds, I was 1v3ing, and Faith was sitting in the back. It was
like the win training. Like, dude, I like the thing is that it's gonna happen. If there's a cheese out, it's gonna be abused because the way the Trials League works is not okay. And dude, the win trading, like, why it's not a problem to me is that it's gonna happen no matter what we do. A new method out, there's gonna be a new thing out. People are gonna VPN, do all these other things. There's always gonna be a way around it. VPN is gonna be the #1 thing. Also, people that have net Duma routers, you can just ban every other IP and do like a 5-mile radius of your home address and always match the same person over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Like you can just do that. Like you just have 6 PCs and you get paid carries without ever cheating. Obviously, it's not cheating. You're just always matching the same guy.
Yep.
People already do that as of, and I don't know. It's just I don't see a problem with it just yet because, like I said, I haven't ran into it a whole bunch. It would be a problem, but the way to fix it is to make Trials Loot more ornament based and then weapons earned by just playing the game. Okay.
Interesting. All right. Knitehawk, do you have anything to add with the win traders? How you feeling about it? I think we talked a little bit, but
so it was okay until the ability to reconnect on a separate character and never essentially get a lost. And that was big on convergence, right? That's when Lunar made the video and everything. And that's where we saw 50% of the player base was going flawless without playing a single game or actually shooting a bullet.
Yep.
And that was the biggest
That's
issue.
so funny.
So it made it bad. So I still did, like, I played Trials nonstop, and it was literally free win up to 5, and I would match the same 2 teams nonstop. And it's just frustrating because I know who those people are on the other teams, and we don't mind playing each other, but we don't want to play each other every time on a card because we're both trying to, get cards done, help people through. If we keep matching each other, someone has to take the L.
Right.
Just having the ability to not have people win trade like that. Like, it's okay if you win trade over a normal method where 2 people just VPN, because 50% of the player base isn't going to do that. That's a lot of work.
Agreed.
They'll take 1 to 2%, and that means we're still going to have a player base where it's a mix of casual sweats and people just trying to go flawless like we did this last weekend. And it was amazing. It was phenomenal. It was just nice to go in there and you could play the game without having to continuously stress out. It was just a good time for trials.
I loved last weekend.
I
absolutely loved it. I helped something like 30 Guardians get the Igneous.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not even going to do the flawless, right? Because the flawless rewards were crap. So I was like, we're going to do 3 wins. And we ran it, and we got so many people the hammer. And it was a blast. It was such a blast because you were just memeing around. Everybody else was memeing around.
Yeah.
And I think we only had 2 jumpers the whole time. Maybe 3. It was fantastic.
It was only on game 1. It wasn't continuously.
Yep. Yeah, it was a blast. I really enjoyed it. All right, so we've talked cheating, we've talked win trading. Obviously, both of these are revolved around trials. What, if you guys could walk into Bungie, what was one thing, or what would you adjust to get more players into trials on a weekly basis? What's your
play games, earn engrams, adapt the Umbral engram thing to trials so people can farm the weapon if they're choosing by playing more, getting more things to get the weapon they want. The more you play, the more chance you have to get the exact weapon you want, and then everything else by going flawless is ornament based and make it look sick.
Yeah, extra cosmetics just for playtime. You can make a triumph where you earn a special ghost or shader or anything for playing. If you play 5 games, in week 1, week 2, or week 3, kind of have the quest system set up right now for the seasonal challenges, where you can get bright dust, just extra things just for playing. And that would really drive home a lot of people, because that means they don't have to win; they just have to play the game mode.
Yep, adept weapon still for flawless, though, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, there still needs to be, definitely, especially for the seasoned players, there needs to be, flawless ornaments, ghost shell, ship, shader, sparrow, and adept weapons.
All right, so
and more emblems.
Yes,
dude, please. I missed
my cat emblem bag.
Dude, I want the cat armor back. What do you mean?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
the cat armor.
A D1 characters.
So here's mine, breaking it down with chat and the community over the last weeks, months, whatever. What I would like to see, and you guys can tell me if you think this would work, if you think it would grow the ecosystem as a whole, is I'd like to see rewards on every game. So whether it's Trials of the 9 weapons, right? Those ones we can't get anymore. Make it a Trials of the 9 weapon on every game. On 357, you get high stat armor. Okay? I mean, minimum 65. Right?
Okay.
Then on Flawless, it is a rotating chest to keep people in the playlist. So instead of your weekend is just Solus, your weekend is just Igneous, your weekend is just Messenger. Instead, it's an exciting thing to open up the chest, right?
Okay.
So not only are you farming for a weapon in the chest, but you're also farming for a role that you want, right? I think that I would get a lot more people to run all the way to Flawless.
Okay.
So you'd have your high stat armor, you'd have random drops in each game, win or loss. Whether it's Trials of the 9 weapons and armor, whether it's just random open world drops, whatever, and then 357 would be your high stat, and then it would roll on your Flawless chest.
Okay.
What do you think?
Anything that sounds higher
bring
stat.
people in?
Yeah, if you're giving people higher stat armor, they're gonna play no matter what. But I think the biggest thing, which Hatter said in chat, is what kind of loot do you get between 3, 5, and 7?
Between 3, 5, and 7 would just be random drops of either Trials of the 9 weapons and armor or open world weapons and armor. Kind of just like when you finish a match in Crucible, right? Or you finish a match in comp. Not always you're gonna get cool shit, Every once in a while, you'll get a really good far future, or you'll get a really good, whatever the sidearm is, or you'll get a good shotgun and things like that, right? So it would be a drop every game, and then you'd get the cool shit at 357.
Okay.
So it would be like, it would still be static for the 357, whether it be boots, chest, helmet, right? Or robes, arms, and then chest. Things like that would be a weekly. You know what I mean?
I vibe with that. I think that's a good idea. I think the biggest problem with it is like the biggest problem with trials right now is the people that just farm wealth over and over again and do 3 wins repeat.
Yep.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about with that.
Yep.
Like obviously coins need to go. So if you're getting more loot for different wins on different variety, I'm with that idea. I think coins just need to go in general. Give me weapon drops at the end of the match itself.
It would eliminate the coins too. It would completely get rid of the tokens.
I'm with that idea 100%. If I'm getting drops just for playing the game, I'm with it. But if I'm just, farming a wealth card over and over again to get 5 rockets in a row, I'm good. I don't want that in my life. Right. So I like that idea. If I'm getting loot for just playing the playlist, I'm with that. I think a lot more people will play the game too.
I think the coins would work if we had an umbral system where it's like you can either get a sniper or a rocket from buying this umbral with, let's say, 25 tokens. That's the only way I see the token system actually working. I think like the in-between games, it should drop like PvP ritual weapons, like Frozen Orbit and whatever PvP stuff. I don't think it should drop anything Trials related, because Trials is endgame. And I still don't believe like everyone should always obtain everything from Trials, unless you actually get to that point of getting flawless. And I do like flawless chests being static when it's add up weapons, because I try to go flawless multiple times to obtain that god roll. And if I go there and when it doesn't work and I get a sword and I'm trying to get a messenger, I'll be upset.
True. I'm mad too. I think of it that way. And go there and get a fusion rifle.
I know. I used an hour of my time to get a fusion rifle. That's the only reason why I like add up weapons being static but random rules when it comes to the chest, because it makes that weekend available to, if I want to go flawless 20 times, I can to try to obtain the roll I want.
So that's you though. We got to think more along the lines of what would bring the ecosystem in, right? What would bring the casual player that doesn't sink 60 hours in a weekend on Trials?
But that's so I compare Trials flawless to like an Edge of Tomorrow drop, right? Like not everybody's gonna get flawless, and I think that's okay. I don't think it should be impossible to get, but I should think it shouldn't be possible for every single player in the game to obtain it. Just like how there's a lot of people who don't have, whether it's fire teams or whatever, to go to do a Grandmaster Nightfall, because it's whether it's skill, fire team members, or ability, you're not going to be able to do it, and that's okay. You shouldn't be able to get every single thing that's in the game, because that's what games like Destiny thrive on, just like World of Warcraft. Getting that exclusive item makes it that much more fun obtaining it, and actually that much more valuable when you obtain it.
Sure.
So that's why I prefer the whole ability to go flawless. It shouldn't be every single person, but I do want more people the ability to get it, and that's why this weekend proved that more people can get it if there's a larger player base.
Yeah, but it's keeping the player base in there. You know what I mean? Because I've talked to a couple people that are like MP, right? MP Edits. We all know who he is. He was in my chat on Tuesday morning when we were playing Trials, and I asked him, I was like, hey, did you play Trials this weekend? He goes, I got my flawless once, and I didn't touch it again for the rest of the weekend. I'm trying to think of a way to keep people in the playlist the entire weekend long as an endgame content, right?
Yeah, I think we have to find a statistic, because everyone I talk to, people who don't ever touch Trials, they went flawless multiple times this weekend, or attempted it. And everyone I talk to, like I talked to someone who their stats are subpar, LFG people won't pick them up, but they went flawless. They attempted 5 times and they got 3. And they said they just kept trying all weekend, just because it was a much better experience for them, that they didn't even care about going flawless, but them having the ability to even almost get there was what the difference in them enjoying their time.
Sure. So
I think
6 got her flawless 3 times. Yeah. And that's a lot of the population, but that's only because of the loot pool and how free it felt on the games 1 through 3, 1 through 3 was very free. If we lost our first 3 games, it was because we ended up matching somebody that was already like queuing at the same time we were, right? Otherwise, it was a very holy shit. Leg, you're insane. That distracted the hell out of me. Otherwise, it was like a lot of the people that I talked to and I brought in chat to come run with me were like, yeah, I like Serana's a great example, right? She said, let me scroll back so I can quote it exactly. She says, I had quite enough of being shat on and bagged in my life when I get matched against gods in the first card because there's nobody better to matchmake. It's depressing and aggregating. So she's more of a PvE main. Doesn't really touch because of medical things, and that is up to her if she wants to share. If you guys know or not, the Knitehawk, the flawless game that I was trying to pull you in on for the carry, that was Serana.
Okay.
So we managed to complete it, but she survived 2 rounds of leukemia, has dealt with a lot of reaction from it, but she also wants to get it herself. She didn't just want to recoup. So that's one of those things where it's like, that is the exact definition of a casual in the playlist, right? Somebody that absolutely cannot, and usually just spends the week going on LFG and saying, who wants to throw for the weekend for the 10 loss, right?
Yeah.
So how do we get that kind of mentality to play a card through?
Question: Is the card still? Are cards still, or matchmaking still based off card win?
Yes.
I think it was connection based this weekend.
No, it's still card based. They haven't changed it yet.
Every flawless I had, they were nowhere near 7 wins. I never played anyone who was on their flawless game.
Maybe they were testing it this weekend.
Maybe.
But if they make it to where it's only connection based and not skill based matchmaking, not card matchmaking, they make it to where like basically you have a chance of just fighting equal level all the way there, or maybe less than equal level. More people would play. The thing is, even though it's trials, not everybody wants to sweat 24/7.
Yeah, but if you look at the casual players, the biggest thing that they scream about is they don't want to be matching a flawless game, Knitehawk, on their second win. Right.
So I think a hybrid system would be perfect, right? Like 1 to 5 is CBMM, and then after that it goes card based. It was
supposed to be. So and other than the last weekend did feel a lot like connection based for sure, because our flawless game was the easiest 5-0 I think we've ever had, and I was doing a double. It was so easy. But I think the way it was supposed to be set up originally was cards 1 through 3 was connection based, and then 4 through 7 is supposed to be card based.
Yeah.
But the way it played out that way is it was not,
Yeah.
At game 7, you're matching people at game 5. At game 7, you're matching people at game 4, game 2, game 1. Like there were some games where we loaded in and guys were on a 9 win streak, or 9 flawless win streak. As your game 1, and you're like, well, this is not how I wanted to queue it in.
It's just, I think a hybrid system worked really well. I don't like, we all know Bungie does spaghetti coding, so I don't know how they get it to work without causing issues initially, but I really feel like this weekend could have potentially been a test for changes to trials, but we don't really know. They never confirm. I know a bunch of people asked too if they changed anything, but they never answered anything regarding changes to trials matchmaking.
True.
They're not very vocal about things they do.
They did great at the launch of D2. They had made the transparency. They gave us roadmaps. They said everything they were doing. A developer I've been watching very closely, and it's a very small non-live service game, is Outriders. They are announcing every single change they're doing to the game. Apex is doing a lot better at it too. It's just, even though if the changes suck, if you tell us, at least we know and we don't have to find out. I think that's a big part of like where Bungie and similar developers are misconnecting with their communities. It's just
yeah. Well, you follow Apex, right? Apex announced they're gonna buff Caustic like a month ago, and then everybody was outraged, and then they canceled that patch.
Yep.
Because it was like the worst call you could ever do, and because they were transparent about it, they diverted a whole bad situation So Bungie needs to be more open about what they're doing when they're doing it. Obviously don't spoil story stuff if, in raids, but like when it comes to balancing and like new subclasses that you're making, like let us see it. Like stasis could have been avoided if you let us see it in Crucible way beforehand. But no, you showed us a PvP trailer like 3 weeks before launch. Like no time anymore.
Exactly.
Like nothing has to be secret. I don't care about me seeing a super that I'm gonna be using for 19 hours a day, almost every day in trials. Like just let me see it, and then we can all talk about it as a community. Fix that shit before it happens. Bungie's not vocal about things, and it's annoying me.
Yep. I feel that.
Makes so many problems happen for no reason. Like I love that Apex is doing it, and Outriders, like you said, Outriders, dude, I love what they're doing with that game.
It is. And I know it's not a live service game, but they literally said on launch, depending on what the community wants, they're more than happy to make it a live service or continue DLCs for the game. It's just whatever the community wants. And I think that's a great outlook on what they're trying to do.
That's actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool to see, honestly. I mean, I wish the only thing that turns me off of Outriders is it doesn't have a player versus player.
Yeah, they said it wouldn't. They didn't say it wasn't. They said it wasn't impossible, but the only reason why they didn't want to work on one now is because they didn't want to have to deal with having to balance their classes and abilities, because they look at a bunch of games that have issues with balancing that. That's why they didn't want to do it.
Oh, and their stuff is nuts.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be crazy to have to balance.
I think it could be very dangerous if it had a very big threat to Bungie as a whole if it had a PvP aspect.
I think so too. I still think they, like, realistically, when people say there's Destiny killers, Destiny's never gonna die. The community's too massive. We all love Destiny, but that's where we all get upset, right? Because we're passionate about it. Nothing's ever gonna kill Destiny. There's nothing like it. It's the only arena shooter, in my opinion, that's even half decent, even though it pisses me off most of the time. The only way it would have trouble with PvP is if Halo Infinite is a godsend of Halo 3. And that's the only way I see anything in terms of PvP going downhill for Destiny.
My only thought,
have a BR is dead on launch.
Well, Halo comes out this fall, and Destiny's they have to pull all the stops when Witch King comes out.
Well, it got pushed out.
Well,
it's not
pushed
coming
back
out
to February.
Again?
Yeah, they announced that like at the state of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be all the way out there, which is fine. I mean, I get to play Halo now, but
exactly. I would still play Destiny. I probably wouldn't sink in, the 60 hours of PvP I do a week.
Right.
Halo, my man.
All right, we got one more question, and then we'll jump into the gaming aspect. We are already a half hour over. Holy shit. Let's dive into one more nitty gritty. Bagging. That is a hot topic. It always is on Twitter. It always is on everything else. I see a lot of comments in Discords because I'm in way too many. Somebody says, GG's, why'd you bag? Right?
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about them dipping little tea bags on your pixeled forehead?
Dude, I'm a Halo player, bro. You know where it's gonna go.
I'm Halo too.
Bro, Halo had physics for teabagging. Like,
yeah, dude.
What do you mean?
Like it only hurts if you let it hurt you, and if you let it hurt you, that's kind of on you. And I know people don't want to hear that, but obviously I don't like the people that yell slurs while they're doing it. But if I bag you because I make a really good play, it should just motivate you to try to do the same thing to me.
If somebody like 7th columns me and bags me, I'm like, yeah, you get that. Like, I'm proud of you.
Now the question is though, do you get tilted when somebody bags you after they killed you with their super?
No.
I laugh it off. I'm like, okay, and I just get them back next round. Like, that's just
Okay.
Now if somebody's bagging and being malice about it, like just trying to be intentionally like a dickhead, different story. But like if somebody's doing something like in PvP and they're just vibing and just take you out however they do it, you know what I mean? Like it's just simple bag or hit a nasty play, they bag, whatever. Like good stuff.
The cheaters bag, I get heated.
Oh yeah, that's a different story. Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah, exactly. That's the only time I hate it.
So I am not. I tell everybody in my org, I go, I'm not against bagging as long as you don't start it. Right? Mm-hmm. If you kill a super by some crazy ass play, dip them bags. If somebody bags you first, dip them bags.
Yeah.
Like make them
Oh,
kiss
that's
your ass
cool.
cheeks.
I
But-
start floss dancing on people. Fortnite.
Yeah.
Thing,
To me, that's exactly. I'm not a big person on bagging, but I swear if I kill somebody, I will tell your ghost to hug me.
Yep.
Bring the broom out, sweep up a little bit.
Oh, see,
Exactly.
I rocked the tombstone for a long time.
Mhm.
I dropped the tombstone and then tell someone to hug me. Like
Yeah,
that was the thing, right? I definitely
Uh-huh.
return bag, but it's I'm not a big fan of initiating, so it's interesting. That's
I like
why I
initiating.
like to bring that one. You like initiating?
It
Hell yeah.
depends. It depends. So especially if I'm playing someone I know, obviously it's not malice or malintent. It's just fun, man, because it's always fun to play someone you know and then bag them, because we both know it's not like to attack each other, but it's just be like, hey, what are you gonna do about it? And then it kind of creates this.
Oh yeah,
this fun.
I'll bag the
you know,
shit out of the
rivalry.
homies.
Exactly.
I'll bag the shit out of the homies. I matched Flakes, who's an ex Scrim School guest. He's been on the channel a lot. I'll pop into his chat when we matched up this weekend, and I was like, all right, dude, let's go. And then I would bag him, he'd bag me back. And like, that was kind of the thing, and we laughed about it, but it's like, too many people get way too tilted over pixels.
I think the community is getting a little too breaking tradition. Like, dude, bagging, like I said, Halo put physics in their game for it. Like, it's not that serious. It's just a tea bag. Like, we're not like, I'm not yelling at you, insulting your family. I'm just bagging you. It's just like normal. It is normal for me to want to bag somebody. In Halo, if I killed somebody with a 4-shot, it was just second nature to bag for no reason, like at all. Like, we just did it.
True.
Get no
Like,
skill melee, get back, brother.
Yep.
I feel like people are just reading too much into it at this point. Like, if they're reading like things that like are not there. Like, oh, he's just saying this about me and he's bagging me because he thinks he's good. I'm bad news because sometimes it's habit. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say to you.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked is, Brie, I saw you dip them cheeks a couple times.
Oh,
Oh,
on
spam
that Twitter clip?
No. We got VOD playback going, and you had a couple games where I saw you dip them cheeks.
Oh,
like-
yeah, because
On
number one rule on my
0-0.
channel, how to vouch for me in your chat. Number one rule on my channel: if you bag me, I bag you. If it's 0-0 and I bag you, it's because you're cheating. If it's other than that, it's because I played you before and you bagged me. I bag if I get bagged.
I'll take it a step further, and I will bag if you use shitty ass loadouts.
Yeah.
If you're using a grenade launcher, you're bagged. I don't care who you are. If you're cheesing me with a grenade launcher, you're getting bagged. Because people do it on purpose.
Triple bastions is the other one that I will absolutely dip on.
Oh, my friend uses Bastion. His name is Judicator. I'm gonna say that right now, and I bag him on the reg if he uses it.
Yep. Bastion gets bags, no fucks given. Exactly. We have one more question from One Leg. He said, I mean, we talked about this earlier about the 120s.
Yeah.
What's one thing you would adjust with the 120s to make them more in line with the meta?
Range.
Okay.
Yeah.
More
I think
higher
range
damage
is
fall off?
toning down the damage instead of 90s. I think we should only hit like 83s.
Even at 83s, it's still 3-tap.
Exactly, but if you hit the body, you can't 2-2-1. You'd have to 2-2-2, and I think it'd be better. And then with the range fall off, you wouldn't be able to 3-tap at a long range. Like, I don't think a hand cannon should contest a sniper. I don't think that makes sense.
I agree.
Agreed.
Faith, that was Bree that does not like grenade launchers, just so we're clear.
Don't like grenade launchers.
Hate them. They're horrible.
All right, boys, are you ready to jump into the practical?
Yeah.
Ready to run some of the scrimmages?
So what are the rules? What are we doing?
It's kind of a mixture of T-show and Face It.
All right, I'm writing to Lesto.
So we
I
allow
got the mountaintop on.
mountaintop span.
Oh, got it on. Can't stop.
It's the standard. It's the standard. No GLs, no Arbalist, no Bastion.
One sniper team.
One sniper, one stasis, 120 is what I allow. So let's.
Hawkman's fair game thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hawkmoon's fair game. Honestly, all 140s are fair game. So let us hold on. I'm reading this right here. Grenade launchers aren't banned on Face It. Yes, they are. You're out your damn mind. I will bring up Face It's cord right now to prove you
I
wrong.
just start playing Face It every day. What the hell? Can't use grenade launchers? I'm about
But
this.
one thing that was unbanned on Face It that I'm not sure how I feel about was 600 autos.
Why?
Because running against Calico at level 6, level 8 is not fun. Because he's running Suros.
Yeah.
They were unbanned because they got nerfed. And they're like, that's not as bad anymore. And I was like, it still shreds the fuck out of you. But let's jump into it. I am going to switch to a BRB. Chat, if you have any more questions for the guests, feel free to type. They can answer while we're on the Be Right Back screen. Guests, you guys, if you want to go grab a drink of water, use the restroom, what have you, I will send you my join code shortly.
All right.
I don't know what loadout I'm running. I don't do Face It ever.